I have more fun doing Top Chef than watching LeBron and Steph and KD. I'm telling you, this has been an amazing season. And I am so excited as someone who's lived here in Charlotte for the last 10 years, just thrilled that this city got the glow up that it deserves. So I want to first, before we bring in Brittany, Cochran, and our guy, Oscar Diaz from Top Chef Season 23, Carolinas. Round of applause real quick. I want to give a shout out to all of the different chefs and mixologists and those who provided the food tonight. We had bites from Brittany herself, the executive chef over at Stagione, right over here. Kyle Johnson from Community Matters Cafe, right over here. Yeah. Louis Donald from Sweet Lou's. Thank you, Louis. We got Greg Collier over here. That oxtail was unbelievable. We also have LaBelle Helene from Jamie Lynch, Top Chef 2-time appearance. LaBelle Helene also here tonight. We have on the charcuterie. Raise your hand if you had some of that charcuterie in the back. Yes, that was fire. Chef Rayana Radcliffe, thank you so much. The desserts, they're in the back. They're actually prepping stuff in the back, so they're kind of Wizard of Oz out there. But that cake in the middle, make sure you get some of these desserts. Lex Durahan from 300 East. We got Charlotte Herring from Built On Hospitality. And Anne-Marie Stefani from Restaurant Constance. Round of applause for all of them. And the drinks, Justin Hazelton from Lorem Ipsum. Also, Mina Killow from The Pharmacy. Round of applause for all the drinks and beverages here. Thank you so much. We're going to get the party started. You guys ready? Let's go. I said, are you ready? Thank you. Much better. All right, we're going to bring up Laura White from CRVA, the Chief Brand and Strategy Officer. Let's also bring up Brittany, Cochran, and Oscar Diaz, the esteemed guests of honor here. From Top Chef Carolinas, Brittany and Oscar. You guys over here on the left. And I'm going to start things off. Oh, this is so cool. Again, starstruck with having you guys here. Laura, we're going to start with you. I want to know the origin story. Like, how did we do this? Like, how did Charlotte get Top Chef Carolinas done? Like, how did it all begin?
Wow. That is a really loaded question that I think so many of us are so proud to answer in this room, because there were so many faces and voices who shaped this. It really was so many different chefs, so many different marketing and PR representatives that we just kind of casually tapped on the shoulder and said, what do you think about this? Is this crazy? And they were all like, no, let's do this. Yeah. And so we had a great kind of brainstorm come together. It started with Ted Nelson from Gumbo Marketing, who is one of our legendary supporters on culinary. And I think we pulled together 4 or 5 different PR and chefs and, all different kind of personalities in the community to say, okay, if we did this, what would it look like? And what would some of the challenges be? What would some of the themes be? What would we want to showcase? And it's really fantastic because what you saw on the show was reflected in the ideas of so many individuals that you see in this room. So the barbecue episode, the episode with Jamie and Jeff from the Textile Mill Heritage, Greg Collier's episode, which was fantastic. So many of those themes originated from the original pitching of the show. So it was really fantastic to see that culmination.
Yeah, like, what was that call like when you found out Charlotte was going to host?
Oh, it was more than a call. It was about 8 months of negotiations and drawn out, how can we do this? Because, this was taking something on that we were so proud to be chosen as a city, but we wanted to make sure that we carry this huge responsibility to the best degree possible, because all of those beauty shots that you saw, all of those different locations and the different personalities, those all had to be curated in a really, really sensitive, careful way. And so it wasn't just like a, hey, you got it. It was like a, let's keep our fingers crossed and really make sure that we dot every I and cross every T to make this the most amazing thing possible.
Yeah, it was an incredible season. And I'm biased because we live here, but covering this show for 7 years, there's so much that doesn't make it to air that, like, there's so much in Charlotte that going into it, I was worried we wouldn't get to see the full spectrum of the city. But you guys did a great job of curating that. And anything we didn't see that on air that you feel like we want to give a shout out, or that you want to make note of some people in the audience, or anything off camera that you felt like you want to share?
Oh man, I wish I had something to say that they had left out, but I just feel like seeing what you guys got to experience and how you guys got to experience the city, even that first episode at Charlotte Motor Speedway where it was like you were standing on the surface of the sun.
Yeah,
I don't know how you did
still
that.
sweating from that, so
Yeah.
just got over my sunburn, actually.
I was out there that day and I was really feeling it for you. But it was definitely one of those that I think they represented so well. Those beauty shots of the city will live on in perpetuity anytime a Top Chef fan logs on to Peacock and gets to experience the season all over again. That's what's great about Bravo. That's what's great about Top Chef. I think it's the best culinary competition show out there because it really is a travel show wrapped in a competition culinary show. And I think it's by far the best one that's out there on any network.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, before we get to you guys, I want to ask, Oscar from Raleigh, Durham area, and Brittany here in Charlotte. How do we keep this momentum going? Like, what is CRVA? Like, anything that you're really excited about, and Michelin being in town, like all that, that we want to like build on this Top Chef season.
Well, we have 2 more years of the Michelin Southeastern Guide, so we'll be looking forward to that. We'll see how we do at the Nashville Awards in October. So keep our fingers crossed, support our local restaurants. And then also, we are continuing really the earned media trend. What we saw with that Southern Living accolade that Steve mentioned was amazing. The next great food destination in the Southeast. I mean, that is unprecedented for us. And then also seeing publications like Afar that are coming out with great coverage, Parade magazine. I mean, these profiles on Charlotte just continue to come. And so we're going to continue that momentum, really from a media relations and earned media standpoint. But I think we've got some other tricks up our sleeve. We may see some other shows come to Charlotte down the pike. So stay tuned.
Well, thank you, Laura, for bringing Top Chef and your hand in bringing Top Chef to Charlotte. Everyone give a round of applause for Laura.
Oh, glad to be with you all tonight.
I mean, I don't know what your expectations were of going on Top Chef, but Brittany, we did an episode on Pack Your Knives, and you talked about how much of a responsibility it felt like on your shoulders to rep 704 and rep Charlotte as well as you did. So now, as we're sitting here, the season's done. We did the Deep Roots. Shout out to Wisdom and Cherie Jazar at Deep Roots. We had an amazing time at the farm yesterday, and I got a little taste of, looking back on season 23 Carolinas. I can't believe it's over, but like now, like, how do you feel about how it all went down from where you were, nerves and stuff going into it, and where we are now after your Hawaii trip and the Deep Roots farm?
So I was extremely nervous and intimidated to be a part of this. Very honored. Never thought I would do anything like this. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot of who I want to be as a chef and like who I am as a person in general, and being able to put myself in a vulnerable spot. Like we all have restaurants and we're the top at that restaurant. But when you put all top chefs together, it's like, wow. Really talented. and scared. But, now I think that I feel comfortable with myself and the kind of food that I do. I think that I represented Charlotte the way that I tried my best. I was very honored to be in this position. I really thought I was going to have another Charlotte chef with me, so that was a little intimidating, but at least I had Oscar, so we had the North Carolina roots a little bit. But, all in all, it was an incredible experience and just so honored and just, I think that the final, throughout the season, really showed what Charlotte is about in our industry. Me and Eric were talking about this earlier, that we used to 20 years ago, chefs used to not really would kind of burn each other, and not help out. But I could call Eric and be like, hey, you got an extra bag of mussels? And he's like, yes. I can say that to Greg or Kyle, and we just help each other out. And that's what we did on the show as well, is that there were a lot of scenes that weren't shown to you guys that we were helping each other, and at the end of the day it was a competition, but we also we cared about each other. We had we respected each other, and we just wanted to see each other shine. So if I had an extra minute, I'm going to go help you. If you had an extra minute, you're going to come help me. And it just so happened that we were always on the same side. So you needed pint containers, I got you, chef. You needed tasting spoons, I got you, chef. And I think that goes to show not only what chefs are in the community together, but also what chefs of Charlotte, what we do for each other.
Yeah. I'm just going to cut to the chase. Brittany, I felt like you deserved a better shot on Top Chef. Yesterday at the farm, you were trying to come up with the word, how you felt about how things ended on Top Chef, and here comes Oscar going, it's bullshit.
That's my boy
What?
right there.
Why did you feel like...
Show's over now, so I can say whatever I want. Yeah. I'm
But what about doing... Well, first of all, Little Bull in Raleigh-Durham area, two-time James Beard semifinalist nominee, this guy.
Thank you.
You're from Chicago, and Chi-Town, and you and Brittany are now having to represent North Carolina.
Yeah, so when I got on the show, everyone kept, you do these long-ass interviews when you see us always wearing the same shirt, and we get our little 3-second blurb. Those are 4-hour interviews. For them to catch you saying the dumbest shit you've said in 4 hours, and then they put that on. But they were like, oh, you're the hometown hero. And I was like, don't put that pressure on me. So where's your favorite place to eat in Charlotte? I'm like, I've been to Charlotte twice, and it's not that I was in Raleigh before. I was there for about 10 years, sold everything, went to Durham, and I've been in Durham. And I'm pretty sure most chefs or anyone in the industry can attest, is that when you're in the industry, you're kind of there. My radius, if you put a little tracker on me, was a 1 mile radius. So I didn't even know Raleigh for the 10 years I was there. And then, I moved to Durham. Shout out to Raleigh people. All right, we got one in the house. That felt good. But yeah, and then, I opened up Little Bull in Durham, and then 6 months later, I just kept opening things. So when I got the call that I was gonna be on Top Chef, I was kind of like, damn, what a weird thing to do right now. I'm in the middle of opening 3 restaurants. Literally, they were each 1 month open, and I was getting ready to open up in the airport, all these things. So I had all this weird pressure on me that I think it was different, because everyone's like, were you nervous? And I was like, honestly, I was gonna have a little bit of a vacation. Because I'm I get to get away from all this money spending and pressure. And then I get there, and then instantly they're like, you're the Charlotte guy, and then you got pressure on you. But it felt good. It felt good to represent, yourself, represent all the cities, right? North Carolina in general, the state, but Raleigh, Durham, Chicago, Mexico. I think that's, but I think those are the things that help make the perspective unique, right? I can claim a lot of places home because I've lived in these places. So to me, this whole border thing and all that, it's just some made up construct. To me, it's we're just here to make good food. And everywhere I've gone and lived, I've picked up something new through farmers that I meet, through ingredients that I wasn't familiar with, through dishes that remind me of something that I've come across, in my travels. But I'm getting on a tangent. What was the question? I'm an Aquarius.
I was saying what it was like to rep North Carolina, and also Brittany should have stayed on the Hop and Wand from you on that episode where we went to the farm.
Yeah.
And then also Greg Collier and Tristan Epsilon, that episode. I got to eat that food, and it was delicious. And I remembered the Seeger's dish, the pork belly for the diners. I was there. I got a chance to eat it. That was actually our least favorite dish, and he ended up winning. And then your dish, I didn't think it was going to be sent home, and your dish was great. And so I'm like, I want the behind the scenes of how you guys, remember that episode, the Southern Sides episode, how that was for you? Because it was, you go out to the farm.
Very much remember that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tom, for bringing that up.
Anything you want to get the record straight on how that went down?
All right, so the record is that so there's a lot of things that you guys didn't see on that episode. Okay, yeah, we all know that
Give us the deets, yes.
oven didn't work and I had to freak out and figure something out. But before all of that, we're on a timer. Timer does not stop regardless of what happens. As chefs, we're supposed to pivot, we're supposed to figure things out, but when you're doing a show like Top Chef, there's certain rules that we have to follow, meaning that we have to use certain equipment that has come from Top Chef that, we just have to use their stuff. Of course, at the restaurant, we have their ovens and, griddles and fryers, but smallwares is brought by Top Chef. So I will be very honest, this was the first challenge that I actually went in with confidence. I was like, hey, I actually understand the rules, I understand the product, I know collard greens, I know Southern cooking, I felt good about my dish. And so I asked the right questions and I was like, okay, I'm set up for myself. And
you guys have to lawyers come in and you have to read all the rules and stuff, which we learned later in the season came up. But it's a lot of legalese before you actually start cooking.
100%.
Yeah, then that's when you get to ask questions, and it's super long, and short attention span. And I'd start daydreaming, and then I was just like, I need mezcal for cooking, and I would actually just drink it. So you guys wanted behind the scenes.
Those that know me and know Stagioni, we do a huge pork program. I do the whole hog, yada, yada. So, I was very confident in making sausage. I know how to do it with my eyes closed. But when you don't have a meat grinder, you kind of get thrown for a loop. And so I was putting together the meat grinder. That's one of the questions that I had asked behind, when we were getting our rules read. I was like, where's the meat grinder? Where are the attachments? They told me exactly where they were. And I was like, okay, great, got it. And timer starts, I go and I start looking for the attachment. It was exactly where it was. I had the meat grinder on my station. I start putting things together. It's not going together. And now I'm questioning myself, do I even know kitchen equipment? And then Brandon was next to me and I said, Brandon, am I an idiot? Do I not know what I'm doing? And he took the time to stop what he was doing to help me. And we tried to put together this meat grinder. And he's like, no, these attachments are all wrong. And I was like, okay, I'm not crazy. So then I called for culinary. They're like, okay, we got it. We'll replace it right away. I thought that it was just the warehouse truck. No, they had to go we were at Greg's restaurant, and then they had to go all the way out to Still Creek where our studio was. Oh yeah, you don't know anything. Charlotte. But anything.
You had to go somewhere else?
Yeah, so it was they were it'll be here in 40 minutes. And I was like, what? Timer doesn't stop for me. So then they bring me, I was like, that's not gonna work. What do you mean? Now I have to, chefs have to pivot. And I'm like, well, yeah, but I thought you were gonna go outside and grab a new one. And, I didn't realize it was gonna be like that. So, cut to that, they finally bring me, the KitchenAid one that has, chefs will get it, a nozzle this big, and I'm making, 20 pounds of sausage, and it's taking me forever. I finally get in a good spot, then I throw everything in the steamer, and I walk away, and I go back with 16 minutes on the clock, and raw, 100% raw. So then I had to unwrap everything. I was throwing sausage in the fryer on the flat top. I was being the worst line cook that you would ever want. Just
my heart is breaking still. That's so tough.
Yeah, it was tough. And so unfortunately, I knew when I put my first plate out, because our first plate had to be plated exactly the same throughout the dinner service. Yeah. And I knew when I plated that first one, I knew I wanted to get something 100% cooked, obviously. All the components, and I get it on the plate, and I was just like, So then I said my goodbyes.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It really is fine. Like I was happy with what I had to put out and what I had to deal with. Like it is what it is. And, we can get into it later, but I was there for the experience and I met really awesome people.
I was just going to say, the people, and look, you represented Charlotte, awesome. Your story, it was great. You guys did find like a kinship on the show. I mean, I could see that yesterday. Yeah. Is that the North Carolina thing, or he really likes you? I don't know if you like him, but.
No, yeah, they kind of paid us at first to like each other, They're like, no. So actually, the way we met, when you go to this thing, it's kind of wild. I don't know if anyone knows this, but I think this is the most interesting part because it's something that we experienced when we got there as well. Like first day, I got to this, I get to North Carolina. They take you into the hotel, and then it's like. I've never been, right? So I don't want you to think that I've been to prison.
Element?
Yeah, the element.
Yeah.
And nothing towards the element. I'm saying what they're going to put us through feels a little institutionalized because they like open up your luggage, check it, take things that are illegal. They like take everything except strip search you. You know what I mean? And I was like, why not? Why stop there? Just keep it. Oh, you did? Damn it. But so they take all your stuff, and then people just keep randomly knocking on your door, and you can't leave your room. There's no TV, you have no phone, no internet. You just have like a 1970s clock radio that's like mainly static. And so you're sitting there kind of like, what do we do? And every 20, 30 minutes, someone's knocking on your door, and they're like, oh, we're going to, measure you for your coat. Oh, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. Check, let me see all your clothes. No branding, no this, no recipes. If you brought books, they can't be anything about culinary. Yeah, and then if you have like a notebook with your own recipes, they take that from you. So anyway, long story short, 2 days, you're just sitting in a room, and you're not allowed out of your room. And so they'll just like slip notes under your door, like, what do you want for dinner? And you're like,
this sounds amazing.
Yeah, no, they went above and beyond. They went top dog on that one. But they don't want us to meet each other. So the first real interaction I had with Brittany was they noticed that we were both wearing Jordans one day. And they were like, hey, can you come teach? I was cleaning mine after like one of the things that we did. And they're like, oh, well, it'd be cool if you taught Brittany how to clean her Jordans. And so they were trying to force this like friendship between us, and we'd not even met. And so then they had me like, it's what they call like morning reality or night reality. And so they had this night reality where I'm walking to her room with my shoes in my hand and this cleaner, and then I like knock on her door and I'm like, I'm gonna show you how to clean. It never made the show, thank God, because her shoes were like clean as hell. But that's how we met. And then after that, every time there was like a van ride or something somewhere, we kind of would like pull towards each other because it's like the first day of school. The first person you meet becomes like your friend.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of how the Green Gang started and all the things. You just kind of start meeting people because literally we're all strangers. A couple people might have known each other. I think like Seeger, Justin, and Jen knew each other. Obviously the twins knew each other. Which that'd be weird if they didn't. I thought that was the case. Because the day one on the Speedway, by the way, on the Speedway, I came in all pale and I was like Oscar Diaz. And then like at the end of the show, I'm like Oscar Diaz. Fucking brown and shit. So, but I remember watching the brothers and they were wearing like the same color shirt, but one was long sleeve and one was short. And I was like, oh shit, wasn't he wearing a long sleeve shirt? And then all of a sudden they're like, there's twins. And in my mind, because I think I wanted it to be true, I was like, do they know? Like, they were like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know why, but I was like, this is a movie right here. I'm like, this is hilarious if they don't know each other and they're finding out that they got separated. And then they're like, no, you're an idiot. And I was like, well, all right, let me be wishful. But yeah, that's kind of how you start getting to meet everybody. And you make judgments. I remember getting off the van the first day at the race course and looking at everybody and be like, bunch of chumps, I'm gonna smoke these people. And then you're just like, kind of like, you're just seeing them. But then as you get to meet everybody, we really were in a summer camp for chefs with no distractions, which I will say, put down your phone sometimes and hang out with friends. Because, no, It's crazy. Because at first I was like, this is insane. And I think I would just sit like in the bathroom and do this movement and with a shampoo bottle or anything. And I'm like, my body wants to do that, but you start having genuine conversations. You could watch a whole movie without like answering an email or whatever, which they would pull out a DVD and make it like let us watch a movie once a week, special treat. But yeah, so it was cool. You got to kind of really get to know everybody. First was like little accidents of like how you meet, but then after that, like we really, to what Brittany said, is that those were all amazing people. They're like people that have been in the industry 15, 20 years, have knowledge of business. It started off with food talk. Eventually it's like, you know, faith, family, things that like really matter. So like we, you know, for a month, 2 months, however long we were there, you really, really got to know these people. And I, as someone who went to military school from a young age, I gotta say, like, there's this camaraderie that comes with that, because we're also like, you know, being fed to the lion's den every day, and then you watch one of your people leave, so it's like there's this weird bond that brings us together. And even after the show, I hear people be like, oh, so-and-so was a jerk, and I'm like, I'll fight you. I will fight you. I mean, I'm not a good fighter. I'll say it, but I won't do it. But, you know, I'm like, don't talk about, like, one of my brothers or sisters like that. Like, 'cause you don't know what you would look like on that either. You know, it's tough.
Well, amazing answer, by the way. That was incredible.
Yeah,
So the Jays brought you guys together.
Jay's brought us together. If Michael Jordan watches this, I'll take any sort of deal. I'll make the purple cabbage ones. I'll jump in.
Hook them up. What was your favorite thing about your time in Charlotte while you're on the show? You said going to Deep Roots yesterday, touching the grass and being part of like the farm was a big highlight.
Yeah, I think anytime you got to get outside of the studio, outside of like, because all day there's just like this impending doom of like, I'm gonna go get judged, someone's gonna get kicked out, what am I making? I gotta go shop at Whole Foods, I gotta do all this, Whole Foods Market, sorry. Also, if y'all wanna throw me some cash, bring it.
Yeah, you corrected me on that too.
It's because we have to say it. Like when we're filming and we talk about our shop at Whole Foods, they're like Whole Foods Market.
Oh.
And so now it's a running joke of that. Like anytime because we all call it Whole Foods, but on Top Chef you have to call it Whole Foods Market.
Yeah.
Full name, you gotta give it its government name.
Government name for sure.
So going out to the farm was great, and yeah. What about you? What was a highlight? Like, I mean, you're so close to your house,
Yeah, literally.
your restaurant.
I could have.
That must have been
Did
torture in some
Did
ways.
I think
but-
about it? Yes, absolutely. You know, obviously I live here. I work here. This is my home now. And I think just being able to show these other incredible chefs that I have now created friendships with to show our city. Like it sounds kind of silly, but like it's the truth, I probably would have never met Deep Roots Farms in Sheridan Wisdom, and like it was amazing. And then we got big old pucker butt over there.
Yeah, Ed.
And I got to see things that like are here in Charlotte that I didn't really know about, and and so like I was learning the same way, and then again just to show the other chefs my home was amazing.
Yeah, I gotta say that I said yesterday, Deep Roots, those things felt like you were just living a normal life again. So we're out, it's like a field trip, you get to see the farm. That's things that as chefs you love, right? See where your product's coming from. See, a lot of times, people it's like, oh, it's so amazing the job they do, and it is. All that stuff's amazing, but people forget there's a lot of dedication and hard work put into that. And like without that, our job can't be done, right? Like if I buy subpar product from people that don't care, then my whatever I'm serving is gonna start subpar. So that was amazing. And then also going to Pucker Butt, I love hot sauces, so I was like all in on it. And it was crazy hot that day, but again, these were like fun moments that even. Yeah, oh yeah, we just got sunburned. They made me eat all this dairy because it was like an ice cream challenge, and then they take us out.
We need like a sunblock sponsorship next year, maybe.
Yeah, they should have put that in the bag. They didn't. Eventually, we got it right, but they didn't tell us the first day. But those things were really amazing because, as Brittany said, it's like I was learning about Charlotte, but then also you get to just go see passionate people that put in a lot of work and make these amazing products, which is kind of like what we are, right? Like a lot of times people are like, I was saying, like people are like, where do you go? I'm like, I just go work, and then I make all these things, and people love what you do, but they don't see the hours and hours and hours of work that it takes to make these products. So to be able to go out there and see all these passionate people do what they do, that was always a good part of the show. And it's like, I don't, I mean, obviously I watch the show and I know everyone wants to see the cooking, but to me, those parts are always like watching family video. You're like, oh, remember when we went to the beach or this? And it's like, those things were great. Also, when we went for the whole hog cook-off, like I know it always ends up sad for one person. Just seeing that cake over there brought back some PTSD.
I was just going to say, does that bring you good memories? Yeah.
But I will say, like Brittany said, like once that dish sucked. That dish I made was horrible. But I just lied. I was like, no, this is actually pretty great. And I'm like, I think you guys just have crappy palates, Tom and Kristen. If you don't like this, who doesn't want whipped butter on top of their dessert?
Sounds great to me, yeah.
I lied, and the guests liked it, and I charmed them, and I'm like, well, I live one more day, but that dessert did suck.
You charmed the guests?
I charmed the guests, yeah. I'm auditioning for Love Island next, so if Charlotte wants, CRVA wants to bring that over here, let's do it. Let's bring them.
Well, I mean, we could talk for hours. And Brittany, we've done a podcast together, and you're next if I could get you on.
Yeah.
But this was awesome. The Savor Charlotte edition. Go listen to Pack Your Knives. We got Jamie Brown on the show as well. We got a bunch of Kyle Andres from Custom Shop, Justin Hazelton. So if you want to check out more, go check out Pack Your Knives, the Savor Charlotte edition podcast series. Thank you so much, guys. Let's give it up for Oscar and Brittany. Thank you so much.
Thank you. If you have a couple courtside tickets.
What's that?
If you got a couple courtside tickets that you're
Oh,
bored
yeah. Me and MJ will hook you up.
Yeah. Throw them our way.
All right. We got the next segment here. Hey, guys. I want to introduce everybody here. Ed Curry from Pucker Butt. If you had a Carolina Reaper, Pepper X, or watched Hot Ones, right there. We got Kyle Johnson from Community Matters Cafe. Louis Donald from Sweet Lou's. What's up, Lou? And we got Jeff Tonadandle and Jamie Brown from the Tony Dandle Brown Hospitality Group, Supperland, Louis Hall, Haberdish, Everondolo, et cetera, Greg Collier from Bay Haven, Fine and Fettle. Shout out to Greg. We talked about it earlier. We got Wisdom and Shareed Jazar over at the Deep Roots Farm. And finally, Kat Carter and Eric Ferguson from Lostrica. Awesome. All right, so you guys are all on Top Chef and a part of this season of Top Chef. And so I wanted to ask you, we just heard from Brittany and Oscar. I'll start, let's see, who do I want to? Greg. What was something that aired? Yeah. Stir it up. What aired on Top Chef as part of your experience? And one thing that you loved about that Charlotte got its shine on the city? And one thing you wished aired from your experience on Top Chef? I'm going to ask each of you this question. So what's something you were so glad to see got on the air while you were there? And one thing you wished behind the scenes?
Is it on? Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. So we was talking earlier about it. I know when I was introduced to the idea of Top Chef, there was a little bit of conversation, and I don't know if everybody noticed, one of the biggest reasons why we got Top Chef here is because we did a brunch on Deep Roots Farm in like 28-degree weather. It was super cold. But we did a super dope brunch for the Top Chef folks that came, they ate, and we had a good time. And I think that kind of linchpinned like what it was and who Charlotte was from that perspective. And I know there was a super dope fine dining dinner they did, and they also did Serving the Culture. So to be a part of two of the things was super dope. But I'm surprised how well they told the story that we thought, me, Sabrina, Wisdom, Cherie, Shelton, Wilmo, they over there somewhere. We always like, yo, you got to come to the West Side. You got to go to a black farm. You got to do some cultural things. And a lot of times when you work with organizations, they kind of, oh, well, I hear what you're saying, but we're going to do it this way. They didn't, though. They was like, all right, so what else y'all want to do? We was like, what do you mean, what else? They were like, hey, man, we think you should do the Southern episode. I was like, bet. Okay, we think you should do it with Tristan. Tristan's my guy. I was like, bet. Oh, I think you should do it on, we think you should do it on the Black Farm. We was like, oh, bet. Also, we think you should cook all the Southern times. I was like, oh, shit. So just from their perspective, it's amazing to see, and that's why I think it was meant for us. It was between us and Salt Lake City, by the way. So it's super dope that we got it because it felt like it was our time to get it.
Yes.
Like I talked to, Brittany said it earlier, I can call Jamie and say, hey man, I need some quart container deli lids. They say, all right, go to the restaurant, get it. I call Sweet Lou, I need some chicken smoked. I call Kyle, hey man, you got somebody coming up. Like, I don't think people understand how connected we are as a community in Charlotte. I know you might hear certain things, and you might kind of see some things poo-poo in the press, but like everybody on this stage has worked together multiple times in multiple ways, and it ain't had nothing to do with the love of Charlotte and making sure the Charlotte that we know exists goes out. So that's what I thought was super amazing about it.
It's something happened on the show that you were like, I wish that got on air.
Hell yeah. So now let's get to that, right?
Why'd you let him talk first?
I know. We gotta get it out. Y'all gonna be positive. I gotta get the bullshit out. So listen, if y'all know me, y'all know I'm unabashedly a black man from Memphis who cooks Southern food, right? I don't spread no bones about it. I don't care what nobody feel. I believe that Southern food, Afro-Southern food is what we coined it. It's super important to me for us to tell an entire story of Southern food and not just fried chicken and mac and cheese, right? So one thing that is irritating to me, ain't got nothing to do with you, Gail, chicken tenders is not our thing, bro.
I didn't say it was.
That is the wackest, most trash thing that I've heard in the whole Top Chef thing. Tom, you ain't got to, let me do it. You listen, let me do it. They can be mad at me. I'm cool with it. People be mad at me all the time anyway. We are so much better and bigger than fried chicken here. Like, the people on this stage are extremely talented. So much so that we can also cook chicken tenders, raised chickens, roast chicken, smoked chicken, grilled chicken, all the chicken. So, like, I think, and again, it's personal for me because I came to Charlotte because I believe Charlotte had a chip on his shoulder like I felt like I had. So I don't like when people be acting like we just, it's this little country town, Charlotte. Nah, like we the shit. Like, and it's cool for us to feel like we the shit. The part that I wish that they showed was, and I like Brandon. I think Brandon's a great chef, one of the twins. So his dish, he did a hoe cake, which was not a hoe cake. And then he did a gochujang chicken tender on top of the whole cake with, again, I love that he used black garlic from the farm, with black garlic, butter, and maple syrup. It wasn't a bad or disgusting dish, but it was not Southern. And so me and Tom in the thing was like, this is bad. He was like, man, we sell a lot of tenders. He was like, I stand by it. Tom was like, I don't care if you stand by it or not. It's a chicken tender on top of a sweet cake. So I wish they could have saw that because, again, who I am, what I believe I represent for Charlotte, my position here is Black Southern chef, and I'm okay with that. Not only am I okay with that, I'm proud of being that. So while we was in that room and another chef with African-American heritage was like, oh yeah, this is my Southern dish. I was like, this is like Bojangles, bro. You're more talented than that. And as he went on, he kept killing and kept cooking more stuff. So that's my gripe. Anyway, y'all go ahead. My bad.
Hey. I'll just say, Gail originally said Charlotte doesn't need a signature dish.
Right.
Do you agree with that?
I don't think any place needs a signature dish. The people who need signature dishes is media. I know if I want good barbecue, I'm going to Sweet Lou's. I know I want a beautiful experience, I'm going to holler at Suppleland. I know if I want to connect with good food and an important community experience, I'm going to Community Matters. I know if I want a phenomenal tasting menu, I'm going to go to the Ostrich. I know if I want great produce, I'm going to the farm. So for me, we don't need a signature dish. I think we have a signature thing, which is like Charlotte chefs, Charlotte farmers, Charlotte community, we together. And like, ain't nobody coming between that. Well, Oscar, I love you, Oscar. We better than Durham and Raleigh and all that too, and Charleston and Asheville. I'm standing on it because I believe in the people on this stage and what we do. So I don't think we need a signature dish.
That was great. You guys got to follow that up. I'm sorry. It's
Oh, the question is like, what was one? Well, I know that, first of all, that brunch was just the bomb because Chef Greg made this omelet with duck eggs and chicken eggs. And I don't know what you put in that, but that was just delicious. Everything was delicious that he made on that brunch. It was just phenomenal. And I thank you for that because I got to enjoy some of it. But one scene on the show, when they came to our farm, first of all, we grow shiitake, we grow mushrooms in an environment where we can control the temperature, the humidity and such, right? But we also grow shiitakes on a logs outdoors. And it just so happens, and when you grow shiitakes outdoors, it has to be the right conditions, right amount of moisture, the temperature, all that has to be right in order for them to fruit. And when they came to the farm, those shiitake logs were fruiting like crazy. So we were excited, but it wasn't in the same area as where they wanted to shoot.
Yeah.
And so Wisdom and I thought, like, how could we like tell them like, go to the shiitakes, let's go. And so then we mentioned it to Lawrence on the show, like, we got these shiitakes over here, like, you want to go get them. And he was like, him and who was the other chef? They were fighting over who were going to harvest the shiitake mushrooms. And they got all of that on film. It was like it was like a battle. Who was going to harvest these shiitake mushrooms? And I think they both did, but Lawrence got the most of them, and he incorporated them in the dish. That was just like phenomenal that happened.
I wish they would have showed that part. If that would have been a part, I wish they would have showed, because it was crazy, the way they battled over those shiitakes and clipping them off. They actually brought a camera over there, but that's just been nice to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other part was, and I don't know why they didn't show this, because I thought it would have been great. We had some of our chickens, our meat chickens, on pasture, and oftentimes when people come to the farm, we talk about the difference between a hen laying eggs versus a meat chicken and the varieties, and we wanted them to like touch the meat bird, and so like I went off script and I was like, have you ever picked up a meat bird? And I think it was Brittany. She was like, no, I'll hold one. And then they held it, and then she was like, oh, it's warm underneath. And we just had this whole conversation about, I know they wanted to focus on the okra, and they wanted to focus on the fact that we grew ginger and that kind of stuff. But to me, I wanted them to understand, like, farmers do a lot of things, and that was just genuine. And just them showing up and being, like, authentically real people, that was a whole surprise to us. We know Greg is like the realest you can get in Charlotte. But sometimes we see chefs as like these people who are like snobbish and really don't care about people. They only care about the product. And they really cared about our story. They cared about our farm. They were vibing with us. That was pretty dope.
Awesome. Oh. Yeah, Eric, what you got? Your cat.
Do you see him shying away from the microwave? Or the microphone, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to echo a lot of things that Greg said. I was really surprised and encouraged to see the support of the agricultural community in the Piedmont area. For those of you who have known me, I have been beating this drum for over 20 years at this point, and to see it on a national TV show was really exciting, because anyone like in this game really knows it's our superpower. It is, we have a tremendous growing season. We have so much diversity. I think we rival some of the best growing areas in the country. You know, we talk a lot about the fact that, you know, we like to source from the West Coast and things like that, and we source from international waters and things like that, but our core and our bedrock is the Carolina Piedmont. And when we go to the market, we buy from black farmers, and we buy from Asian farmers, and we buy from Hispanic farmers, and all of their ingredients become part of our tapestry. And I think that's incredibly powerful, and I was really encouraged to see that that was represented on the show. What I would have liked to see more of was more of that culturally through food and everything else. It is obvious that, you know, we have things like NASCAR and barbecues around us, and, you know, you represented it very well, Lou. But I really would like to see this be the springboard for people to see the second and the third level of what Charlotte has to offer culturally, not just culinarily, but culturally. Thank you. So that's what while I recognize it's a TV show, and I think they did generally a very good job of representing what the city is about, I just hope that we all take this opportunity in this room to springboard off of that and go to the next level and showcase everything else that the city stands for and that it represents.
Awesome.
Am I actually supposed to talk?
Yeah, you're up here.
All right, so hi everyone, I'm Eric Ferguson. I'm the chef of La Strica, part owner with this lovely lady. And I got the opportunity to be a guest chef in the finale. And I cannot tell you how extraordinary this experience was. It was outstanding. So I was sitting in I call it the holding pen, right? So if you've ever been on TV, they put you in a little room where no one is, and you wait, and you wait, wait. And then a friend of mine walked by, Brandon Jew. So Brandon Jew owns Mr. Jew's of San Francisco's finest Chinatown. I love you, Mr. Brandon. He and I worked together at a little restaurant called Quince in San Francisco, Michelin 3-star restaurant. He kind of passed by the room. He looked in, we locked eyes. He walked back and he said, "Red, what are you doing here?" And I was like, "Probably the same thing you're doing here." Right? And we were the guests in the finale of the Top Chef. So what a crazy experience. I can't even begin to tell you what it was like, because I didn't get to see the whole season, right? Like everybody, all of us got to just watch the season of Top Chef. We were like, "Oh my God, look, that's him. Oh, that's her. Oh, look, that's him. That's her. Oh my God. Oh. Like we all knew these places. We all knew these spots. All of these things in Charlotte. Oh my God, this is fucking awesome." Right?
Yeah.
It was so cool. But I was sitting at a table of all-star chefs, absolute all-star chefs of around the country. And we got to judge 4 dishes from 3 chefs, right? And we had no idea what had happened before us. It was so cool, right? We were like, "That's awesome, that's terrible, that's great, holy shit, oh my God, that's amazing," right? The experience was outstanding.
Yeah.
And I will say that to be able to be on that panel of chefs, I still keep up with Brandon. We're friends. I've made friends with Joe, which is crazy. Knock, who I sat next to, she's got number 11 in North America at her restaurant at Kalia. It's crazy. Kat and I went to visit her, and it was just beautiful.
I stole her as a friend.
Kat likes to steal my chef friends. She stole that one.
Wait, do you think Rhoda should have won?
What's that?
Do you think Rhoda's dish or Rhoda's whole meal was the best?
I gotta tell you, one of the best things that I've ever eaten in my whole entire life was the sweet potato
Yeah, that first dish. Yeah.
with the
Uni butter.
Santa Barbara uni and the miso butter changed my life as a chef. It was perfect.
Oh,
It was perfect. It was amazing. Like, I was like, oh my God, I just fucking want to keep eating this dish.
yeah.
It was so great. Like this, so it was outstanding. It was such an amazing experience. I can never tell you how great it was.
Yeah, well, Kyle got a chance to eat her. I think it was a sweet potato as well. Yeah. So Kyle Johnson was on the first episode of Top Chef this season. Your first episode, the premiere, must have been what for you? Like that must have been.
It was nerve-wracking. So the funny thing was, a lot of people don't know, is I was originally reached out to be one of the competitors on this season of Top Chef. But I decided to turn it down. I turned it down because I didn't want to be away from the restaurant. It's a lot of commitment. It's so much commitment. I'm really close in the work that I do at the cafe with the men and women in that program there. And so like that was too much to give up. So when they reached back out, literally they actually reached back out. I think Laura called me. I don't think she had any clue they were scouting me. The day I called them and told them I wasn't interested anymore, Laura called me that day, maybe an hour later, unknowing that I turned it down and asked if I would like to meet with some of the Top Chef executives at the cafe. They're interested in potentially doing an episode at the restaurant. That didn't work out either, but then they reached out, I think a week before the first episode filmed, and asked me to be one of the guest judges on it. And for me, I'm no shots at anyone. I'm a lot younger than everybody else on stage.
Yeah.
And so, but everybody looks amazing for their ages.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, so I grew up, watching Top Chef. I think the first season of Top Chef I watched from beginning to end was the season in New Orleans, when Nina Compton got robbed from winning her season. And so from there, like, I watched it religiously coming up in the game, in the culinary world. So being able to be asked to come and be a guest judge on this show that I would watch for research, that I would watch to get to know what other great chefs were working around in the country, and be a participating member of that in whatever capacity was incredible for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything that happened on the set that you were like, wow, I wish that was a really cool moment that.
Well, actually, yeah, one of the coolest moments that happened was because I was judging with Sean Brock, which was really, really dope. Because I would study his cookbook in high school. I went to culinary high school, and we were talking. He was telling me his story of in recovery, because he's also in recovery. For those who don't know, Community Matters does work with men and women in recovery from substance abuse. So he was telling me his story and telling me about how he wanted to fall back in love with food, but get rid of the part that was attached to his addiction. And so instead of going to alcohol, he started focusing on music, which was one of his original loves. And so he's like, yeah, now every time I go to a new city, I find the oldest record shop I can find and ask them for the oldest music that came from that city or from that state. And so he asked me, are you familiar with like New Orleans? For those who don't know, I'm from New Orleans. So he asked me, are you familiar with New Orleans big band music and stuff? I'm like, yeah, I think I might know a little something about it. So we started nerding out over old school New Orleans big band, Louis Armstrong, Duke Ellington, the Marsalis family, and just talking through that. So that was in between dishes, because the whole eating process for one of the challenges is 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours. And so in between, when we're waiting for that next dish to come, we was talking about that. And that would have been cool to air, because it was in the back of my mind, I'm like, that's Sean Brock. But he's a normal guy, and he's just having a conversation with me, and he's geeking out more over this conversation than when we was about the food. So that was really cool.
You'll always have that. How cool is that? You'll always have it. That's awesome. Ed. Spoiler alert, Ed hasn't watched his episode yet.
No, I haven't watched any of it yet. Farmer. I don't watch TV. But yeah, I have asked a lot of you what the episode was like, and I just want to say, like, when they called originally, they said, "Are you smoking Ed?" And I was like, "Yeah." "Do you want to hurt some chefs?" And I was like, "Okay, chefs, And I had no idea it was Top Chef. No idea at all. And they came and scouted the farm. They came and scouted our kitchens and stuff. And then I got an email saying that they wanted to shoot an episode on the farm. And we took them down. I built a place at the farm for them. We brought electricity in. We brought in water. We built everything so we could film out in the field. And the director was like, "Oh, this is perfect." And then she turned around and she saw the greenhouses and she's like, "Oh, we're going to film in the greenhouses in the middle of August." And it was literally, just so you guys know, those greenhouses were at 130 degrees while they were filming. It was hot in there. So my favorite part was watching everybody else sweat, and I'm a farmer, I was used to it. But a lot of people don't know. I get to do a lot of TV and film. I'm very blessed. But they had a 300-person crew, okay? And to watch that crew work to make this happen was absolutely amazing. But the best part about that crew was when those chefs came in and ate peppers with me and all threw up and everything, except for a couple of them. The crew came in after, and we filmed a whole bunch of stuff with the crew, eating peppers and doing pepper tincture and stuff. And for 3 days, those guys were in my office getting high on peppers in between takes. So it was an absolute amazing experience. The chefs are awesome. Much love to everybody here on the stage. I mean, it's a lot of work to do the things we're doing and to bring the culinary world together, So I'm just feel blessed to be here.
Speaking of sweating, Lou, the barbecue guru,
Yes.
how was Top Chef for you?
It was a lot of fun. I think we were episode 6, so we still had a good cast of people. So something that sticks out in my mind, obviously, is it too close, too far away? With the whole experience, obviously, the way it got set up, Ted Nelson, maybe people know who he is, but he reached out to me in March of last year, 3 weeks before the Carolina Barbecue Festival, and said, "Hey, I need some time. I need you to help me figure out, Piedmont region kind of barbecue, Lexington style, Eastern style. Who do we know? Who should we call? Who should we talk to?" And he came by the restaurant. We chatted for 45 minutes or something. And he walked out of there, and I said, "I swear to God, if he starts a barbecue festival, I'm going to lose it." I literally thought he was pumping me for information. I was 3 weeks away from our event. And then we put together what they call the Barbecue Summit. So we had 8 pitmasters come from around the state, Sam Jones, Nate from Lexington Barbecue, Stamey's, and all the producers came out. We had a couple of cookers there, showed them how everything works. And then it kind of clicked, obviously, at that point. And then from there forward, after the barbecue festival was over, I made it my mission to get the barbecue episode done, and it had to be whole hog. I felt that was important for Charlotte, for the Carolinas, to talk about barbecue. That's what we do. That's what it is, right? So I got that opportunity, and we took it, ran with it. We loved every minute of it. It was a lot of fun. I think if there's one thing that I wish would have made it in the episode, which they didn't want to show, you can tell when you're cooking in other kitchens, you can tell by the people you work with how they work and their cleanliness of their station and all that kind of stuff. So we could tell which pig who cooked what, because one smoker had ash up to here, and I don't know if they had any more fire coming. And their burn barrel, I let them use my burn barrels, and it's a 50-gallon drum with rebar and you put the wood and it all burns down. This guy's rebar was bent. I can't even get it out. I had to throw it away. So we knew that he cooked his hog too hot and fast.
Huh.
Yeah, so had that made it to the show, you would have, it would have been a...
Didn't a storm come through? Like a crazy storm when you guys shot?
During judging. We were gone by then. But,
Oh, okay, yeah. That was an amazing episode. It told a great story of North Carolina and Carolina barbecue.
It's heritage.
So thank you for that.
If there is a dish in Charlotte or the Carolinas, it should be barbecue. Yeah. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Throwing it out. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. You went first.
Your favorite thing that you were a part of during Top Chef?
Well, I actually, we've split these questions up, and I'm going to answer the one about what was not included in the show. So I will preface this by saying that I wouldn't feel comfortable talking about this except that Gail Simmons actually shared this on her Instagram. So does anybody here follow Gail Simmons on Instagram? You guys have seen this then. But we were part of episode 3 that was filmed just a couple days after Gail Simmons had a very bad fall. So she had fallen on something slippery and hit her face on a rock. And I wouldn't share this because they did not include this in the episode at all. But that morning when she showed up for filming, her face was super scarred up. And she was wearing glasses. And we all had to get ready down in the Supperland Speakeasy, which I don't know if any of you have been down there, but it's a super tight room. And there were probably, 17 people down there getting mic'd up, getting makeup and hair done in the Speakeasy. And there she is getting all of this makeup done. But what was so, I think, cool about it, and they didn't include this in the program at all, but as a woman watching her step into this, she was clearly upset about what had happened. You know, it matters a lot what you look like when she's stepping on TV, and this is her personality, her persona. And she just took all of that with so much grace and courage, and I think that's something that it was maybe a miss that they didn't lean into it more, because I think as a woman, I loved seeing her just decide to go forward anyway and put on those cute glasses and make it work.
None of us knew watching.
You couldn't tell, but you could see it in person. You know, they were able to, she was down at the end of the table. She was kind of hidden a little bit from cameras down there. And that camera setup in Supperland was an absolutely astounding thing to see. You know,
yeah.
we had to actually remove some of the pews. They're all bolted down, so we had to remove some of the pews, and they used the Supperland bar as their video village. So, and then they had, lights hanging from above, and then they also, their creative director actually, in our windows, put in little yellow glass panes to give it kind of a different look in there. So it really kind of transformed the space, and I was like, why didn't I think of that? You know, it makes the place so much more romantic and lovely, but they did it better than me. But I'm going to let my husband talk, too.
That was awesome.
I was going to let Greg talk and I was going to let him finish up. Yeah, for me, mine's pretty simple. I was a big Food Network person growing up and just loved the Food Network. My mom couldn't cook, so that's kind of where I learned how to cook and got my passion for food. And then who shows up at our day but Emerald?
I know.
And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, Emerald's in Charlotte. Emerald's in Supperland. Emerald's hanging out. And I couldn't ask for anything more. You want to just take a million selfies with him and hang out with him all day. And you're like, I don't have to. There's a whole show here. And it was nice because he's, we didn't have the best food that day. We had the natural food coloring show. It didn't go off very well, and Emerald's giving me side eyes the whole time, like I don't know if we can eat this guy. and it was pretty cool. So we had a lot of fun, and I was just happy to spend a day with Emerald.
Yeah, I feel like that's a great way to end it because Charlotte deserved the spotlight it got. And Emerald walking into the city, I think, is a testament to how you guys have all contributed to bringing Charlotte up to where it is now and where it will be in the future. And I think if there's anything I've learned about the Charlotte food community since Top Chef aired is how you guys are like this. And I think you guys collaborating and learning new people that come into the city and embracing all the different people and the cultures and the cuisines and backgrounds, I think is a real, I don't know, if there is something I can say that Charlotte is unique in, it is that. So thank you guys for the farming, the culinary teams, the different innovations that you guys do and continue to do, so thank you. I want to really thank you all for coming up here and sharing your story and also being a part of Top Chef Season 23 and being part of the Charlotte and Carolinas community. Give a round of applause for everybody up here.